Imagine for a moment that you find yourself in a room of absolute silence. Everything around you seems calm, still, almost frozen in time. But within you, there is a noise, a constant murmur that refuses to be ignored. That sound is your unconscious mind trying to communicate something important, something essential for your well-being. Throughout our lives, we often dismiss this inner calling. The external world demands our attention. It is loud, urgent, and relentless. We get caught up in daily routines, social expectations, and the pursuit of success, all while neglecting the most fundamental aspect of our existence, our connection with ourselves. But what happens when this disconnection begins to take a toll on us? What happens when the noise inside grows louder, demanding to be heard? The renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung dedicated his life to exploring these mysteries of the human psyche, and his message is clear. What you choose to nurture within yourself defines everything you experience in the external world. There comes a decisive moment in every person's life, a moment where we must choose between our inner peace and the relationships that surround us. It is not an easy decision. From an early age, we are conditioned to prioritize external acceptance, to mold ourselves into what society expects of us, often without fully understanding these expectations. We are taught that maintaining peace with others is an act of love. But Jung invites us to question this idea. How genuine is love when it requires sacrificing your authenticity? Every relationship we engage in leaves an imprint on our psyche. Some relationships uplift us, inspire us, and connect us to our true purpose. Others, however, drain us, make us feel insecure, and disconnect us from our essence. This emotional exhaustion is not random or accidental. According to Jung, it is the result of a deep misalignment between our conscious mind and our unconscious self. This disconnect happens when we ignore our inner signals, when we allow external pressures to dictate the course of our lives instead of listening to our own needs. Perhaps this has happened to you. You might be in a relationship that, on the surface, appears perfect. Others look at you and see harmony, stability, even happiness. Yet deep inside, there is a persistent feeling of discomfort, an unease that you cannot quite explain. That feeling is not a weakness, nor is it a flaw. It is your unconscious speaking to you, signaling that something is not aligned with your true nature. Ignoring these signals can lead to a state of chronic dissatisfaction, a condition where you slowly lose sight of your own desires and needs. Jung firmly believed that the unconscious does not communicate in direct language. It does not send you neatly worded messages. Instead, it speaks through symbols, dreams, and emotions. When something or someone begins to drain your energy, it is not a coincidence. It is an invitation to look deeper, to reflect on what part of yourself you are sacrificing to maintain that connection. Is it your peace, your self-worth, your authenticity? The real challenge, according to Jung, is not to avoid these situations, but to learn how to confront them. Analytical psychology teaches us that every conflict, whether internal or external, is an opportunity for growth. But to grow, we must first make a courageous decision to prioritize our inner peace above all else. This does not mean abandoning relationships altogether. It means learning to set boundaries, to say no when necessary, and to release what no longer serves us. Letting go is not easy. There is a natural resistance to leaving behind the familiar, even when we know it is harmful. This resistance comes from our shadow, the hidden part of ourselves that clings to the comfort of the known, even if it keeps us trapped in cycles of suffering. But Jung reminds us that true transformation happens when we face our shadow, not when we deny its existence. Integrating the shadow does not mean eliminating it. It means acknowledging it as a valuable part of ourselves. And every time you choose your peace over a relationship that depletes you, you are sending a powerful message to your unconscious. You deserve better. This seemingly small act has a profound impact on how you see yourself and on the kinds of relationships you attract in the future. When you align with your truth, when you honor your essence, the right people and experiences begin to appear, almost as if by magic. One of Jung's most powerful insights is that relationships act as mirrors to our soul. Everything that fascinates us, inspires us, or even irritates us in another person is, in reality, a reflection of something within ourselves. This concept can be difficult to accept, especially when dealing with relationships that seem to be the source of our unhappiness. But Jung invites us to look beyond the surface and ask, what is this experience trying to teach me? When you feel trapped in a draining relationship, the most common reaction is to blame the other person. But Jung believed that true power lies in self-exploration. Ask yourself, why am I allowing this dynamic to continue? What fear or insecurity is preventing me from letting go? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are essential for unlocking personal growth. The shadow plays a crucial role here. Many times, we are drawn to conflict-ridden relationships because those individuals represent aspects of our own shadow that we have not yet integrated. For example, a controlling partner might be reflecting your own lack of boundaries, while a critical friend might be highlighting an insecurity you carry within yourself. Recognizing these patterns does not mean accepting mistreatment. It means using these experiences as opportunities for transformation. Jung believed that personal growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in confrontation. This does not mean seeking out conflict, but rather having the courage to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves. When you choose your inner peace, you are not just letting go of what does not serve you. You are also facing your deepest fears: fear of emptiness, fear of loneliness, fear of change. Letting go is an act of immense courage. It requires a deep trust that something better is on its way, even if you cannot yet see it. Releasing is one of the most transformative steps in the journey toward authenticity. But letting go does not mean abandoning relationships or important situations. It means freeing yourself from what no longer resonates with who you are becoming. This process can be painful at first because it often requires shedding an old version of yourself, a part of your identity that you once clung to. However, in that empty space, in that void where something has been released, lies the greatest opportunity of all, the opportunity to be reborn, to rebuild yourself in a way that is more aligned with your true essence. Carl Jung taught us that when you choose to let go, you create space for new experiences, new people, and new opportunities to enter your life. It is much like tending to a garden. Before flowers can bloom, the weeds must be cleared away. This act of inner cleaning not only transforms your relationships, but also shifts the way you perceive yourself and the world around you. When you choose to prioritize your peace, something powerful happens. You begin to attract people and experiences that reflect that inner state. This is why choosing peace is not about avoiding conflict or running away from difficulties. On the contrary, the most meaningful relationships are often those that challenge us to grow, pushing us beyond our comfort zones. However, there is a crucial difference between a relationship that helps you become the best version of yourself and one that constantly drains your energy and pulls you away from your purpose. The key lies in discerning between the two and taking action accordingly. Jung emphasized the importance of listening to your intuition, that quiet, knowing voice that always has your best interest at heart. Intuition is not irrational. It is the language of the unconscious, a deep and ancient guide that connects you to your most profound truth. But to hear it, you must first learn to silence the external noise, to turn down the volume of distractions and expectations, and instead pay attention to your emotions, your dreams, and the subtle sensations in your body. These are the messages your unconscious uses to communicate what you need to know. When you choose peace, you are strengthening your connection with your intuition. You are sending a message to your unconscious mind that you trust it, that you value its wisdom, and that you are willing to act in alignment with your deepest truth. This choice not only enhances your emotional well-being, but also transforms the quality of your relationships. When you are at peace with yourself, you gain the clarity needed to set boundaries, to communicate effectively, and to attract relationships that are truly nourishing. Jung spoke extensively about the concept of the shadow, the hidden aspects of ourselves that we prefer to ignore because they do not fit the image we want to present to the world. But these suppressed parts of us do not simply disappear. In fact, the more we repress them, the stronger they become, often manifesting in our closest relationships in ways we may not immediately recognize. For instance, if you repeatedly find yourself in relationships where you feel undervalued or unappreciated, it may be a sign that somewhere in your shadow you hold a deeply ingrained belief about your own worth that has not yet been confronted. Perhaps, at some point in your life, you absorbed the idea that you are not deserving of being fully loved or respected. These unconscious beliefs act like magnets, pulling in people and situations that reinforce the same painful narrative. But this is not a punishment. It is an opportunity. It is an invitation to heal, to reframe the way you see yourself, and to shift the story you have been telling yourself for so long. Jung challenges us to do the inner work necessary to integrate the shadow. This is no easy task, but it is profoundly liberating. It requires observing our most uncomfortable emotions, recognizing our repetitive patterns, and examining the dynamics in our relationships. Instead of blaming others or external circumstances, we must ask ourselves, what part of me is creating this reality? What can I learn from this experience? This process of self-exploration does more than just heal old wounds. It also breaks the cycle of reliving the same painful experiences over and over again. Once you begin to acknowledge and make peace with these hidden aspects of yourself, something remarkable happens. The energy you project into the world changes. The people who once seemed to challenge or drain you begin to lose their hold over you. This does not necessarily mean that they change. It means that you change. Your perception of them shifts, and in doing so, you reclaim your power. One of the greatest gifts of choosing peace is clarity. When you are aligned with your true self, you can see with greater precision which relationships support your growth and which ones do not. This does not always mean severing ties abruptly. It means learning how to establish healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not a form of rejection. They are an act of self-love. They are a way of communicating to the world and to yourself that your well-being matters, that your authenticity is non-negotiable, and that you are committed to honoring your inner truth. At first, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you have spent much of your life prioritizing the needs of others over your own. But every time you choose to honor your peace, you reinforce the message that you are worthy of respect, balance, and harmony. And as you continue on this path, you will find that the more aligned you become with your truth, the more naturally the right people, opportunities, and experiences will gravitate towards you. Letting go is never easy, but it is always worth it. Because on the other side of fear, on the other side of uncertainty, there is something far greater waiting for you, the life you were always meant to live. Jung reminds us that true growth often emerges from discomfort. Every time you choose to set a boundary, you are reinforcing your connection with your authentic self. You are affirming your right to live in peace and in alignment with your values. It is crucial to remember that you are not alone in this process. Everyone faces challenges in their relationships and on their journey toward authenticity. Jung spoke about the importance of individuation, a process through which you become the person you are truly meant to be. This transformation is neither linear nor swift. Rather, it is a profound journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and courage. However, every step you take toward authenticity has a ripple effect, not only improving your own life, but also positively influencing those around you. As you progress on this path, you will begin to notice shifts in the relationships you attract. People who align with your true essence will start appearing in your life. These relationships will not be devoid of challenges, but they will be rooted in mutual respect, support, and shared growth. They will inspire you to become the best version of yourself, rather than demand that you sacrifice parts of who you are just to fit in. Jung also taught us about the power of synchronicity, those moments when it feels as though the universe is conspiring in your favor. These experiences are not mere coincidences. They serve as confirmation that you are on the right path. When you choose inner peace and align with your truth, you begin to experience more of these synchronicities. It is as if the universe responds to your decision to live in coherence with your inner self. As you integrate your shadow and prioritize your inner peace, you will start to notice something remarkable. Your perception of the world changes. Jung firmly believed that our external reality is a reflection of our internal state. This means that when you commit to inner work, healing old wounds, and aligning with your values, the experiences you attract will begin to transform as well. For instance, perhaps in the past, you found yourself drawn to people who reinforced patterns of emotional dependence or constant criticism. By confronting the roots of these patterns within yourself, you will naturally start attracting more balanced and fulfilling relationships. This shift does not happen by accident. It is a direct result of your willingness to face your inner shadows and reclaim your authenticity. One of the most powerful tools for facilitating this transformation is conscious reflection. Jung emphasized the significance of dreams and emotions as guides into the depths of our psyche. The next time you experience conflict in a relationship or a persistent sense of discomfort, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what emotion am I feeling? And what is it trying to tell me? What underlying pattern or belief might be influencing my response? By answering these questions, you are building a bridge between your unconscious and your conscious mind. A bridge that is essential for living a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Choosing to confront these difficult questions instead of ignoring them strengthens your connection with yourself and consequently with the world around you. One crucial lesson we can learn from Jung is that inner peace is not a final destination, but an ongoing practice. It is not something you achieve once and effortlessly maintain. Rather, it is a continuous choice that requires commitment and self-compassion. There will be days when you feel tempted to revert to old patterns, to compromise in relationships or situations that do not truly align with who you are. In those moments, remember that every choice matters. Even the smallest steps toward authenticity have a significant impact. Another transformative practice is learning to trust in synchronicity. When you choose inner peace and align with your truth, you will begin to notice how certain people, opportunities, and experiences arrive in your life at exactly the right moment. Jung described synchronicity as a meaningful connection between seemingly unrelated events. These moments are not random. They are signals affirming that you are moving in the right direction. For example, after letting go of a relationship that no longer served you, you might encounter someone who deeply inspires you, or you might stumble upon an opportunity that perfectly aligns with your values. These experiences are a confirmation that your choices are creating positive changes in your life. Trust these moments and allow yourself to keep moving forward, even if the path is not always clear. When you prioritize your inner peace and commit to personal growth, you also transform the relationships already present in your life. Not all difficult relationships need to end. Some can improve significantly when you shift your perspective. By setting clear boundaries, communicating honestly, and showing up authentically, toxic dynamics can dissolve, making space for healthier connections. However, it is equally important to accept that not all relationships are meant to last. Some people enter your life for a season, to teach you specific lessons or to reflect aspects of yourself that need healing. Letting go of these relationships is not a failure. It is an act of self-love. It is a recognition that you deserve to surround yourself with people who support, inspire, and celebrate your authenticity. When you begin to live in alignment with your true self and choose inner peace over relationships that do not resonate with you, something profound starts to happen. You reconnect with your purpose. Carl Jung spoke of individuation as the profound journey through which a person becomes who they are truly meant to be. This process is not simple, nor is it always comfortable, but it is essential for achieving a life filled with meaning, fulfillment, and authenticity. Individuation requires breaking free from external expectations, societal roles, and the limiting beliefs that have accumulated over time. Instead of merely conforming to what others expect of you, you begin to explore who you really are and what you wish to contribute to the world. This transformative journey not only reshapes your personal life, but also profoundly influences the relationships you choose to maintain. When you are aligned with your true purpose, relationships that no longer resonate with your path tend to fade away naturally. There is no need to force separations or create conflicts. Rather, connections that do not support your growth will naturally lose their place in your life. At the same time, you will find yourself attracting individuals who share your values and who genuinely support your evolution. Jung also emphasized the importance of balancing the opposing forces within ourselves. Every human being is a mixture of contradictions, light and shadow, reason and emotion, intuition and logic. Inner conflict arises when we deny a part of ourselves in favor of another. For instance, you may feel drawn to relationships that provide security yet suppress your spontaneity, or to people who challenge you but fail to respect your boundaries. The path to inner peace is not about choosing one over the other, but about integrating these opposites into a harmonious balance that reflects your true self. When you achieve this balance, your relationships undergo a transformation. You no longer seek in others what you cannot find within yourself. Instead of depending on external sources to fill emotional voids, you begin to form relationships from a place of wholeness. A practical example of this process is learning to listen to your emotions without allowing them to control you. Jung believed that emotions are gateways to the unconscious, but he also warned of the dangers of becoming trapped in them. If a particular relationship consistently generates anxiety or frustration, rather than blaming the other person or suppressing your feelings, ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to reveal to me? What aspect of my shadow is being activated in this situation? Answering these questions allows you to make more conscious decisions that are aligned with your truth. This may mean setting boundaries, engaging in difficult conversations, or even letting go of certain relationships. But each time you choose to act from this place of clarity, you strengthen your connection with yourself and cultivate a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external factors. Synchronicity, as Jung described it, becomes more evident when you align yourself with your true purpose. When you choose peace, you are not just making room for the right people and opportunities to enter your life. You are also sending a clear message to the universe that you are ready for something better. This act of faith in yourself sets off a chain of events that seem designed to help you grow and prosper. For example, after releasing a toxic relationship, you may suddenly encounter a mentor, a friend, or a partner who inspires and supports you in ways you never imagined. These encounters are not mere coincidences. They are the direct result of your decision to prioritize your emotional and spiritual well-being. Jung described this phenomenon as an alignment between the unconscious mind and the external world, a sign that you are living in harmony with your truth. However, it is important to remember that this journey is not linear. There will be days when you feel tempted to fall back into old patterns or to engage in relationships that no longer serve you. This is a natural part of the process and does not mean that you are failing. Every decision, no matter how small, that prioritizes your peace contributes to a cumulative effect. Over time, these choices build a solid foundation of authenticity and well-being. Jung also emphasized the crucial role of intuition in decision-making. We often ignore that inner voice because it does not align with logic or external expectations. However, intuition is the language of the unconscious, and learning to listen to it is a fundamental step in living in alignment with your true essence. When you prioritize your peace, you develop a heightened sensitivity to your intuition. You begin to recognize patterns in people and situations, distinguishing between what nourishes your spirit and what drains it. This level of self-awareness enables you to build more meaningful relationships and make choices that are aligned with your purpose. A key concept in Jung's work is projection, the idea that everything you perceive in others, both what you admire and what irritates you, is a reflection of something within yourself. When you experience conflict in a relationship, it is an opportunity to reflect on what these dynamics are revealing about your own psyche. By recognizing and working with these projections, you not only heal your relationships, but also the parts of yourself that need attention and care. Choosing your peace is not about isolating yourself from the world or avoiding relationships. Rather, it is about cultivating connections that reflect your authenticity. When you do this, the right people naturally appear in your life, and opportunities that align with your purpose begin to flow effortlessly. This is the transformative power of living in your truth. Jung's message about the impact of choosing peace over any relationship is not just an invitation for personal change. It is a powerful tool for transforming the world around you. Every time you prioritize your emotional and spiritual well-being, you contribute to a more authentic, meaningful, and possibility-filled environment. Now is your moment to take action. Reflect on the relationships and situations in your life that may be pulling you away from your inner peace. Ask yourself, what can I release to make space for what truly resonates with me? Do not underestimate the power of a conscious decision. Even a small step can set off profound changes. If this message has resonated with you, I invite you to be part of this movement toward authenticity and self-discovery. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these words, someone searching for inspiration to choose their peace and live in their truth. Together, we can create a community where Jung's teachings serve as a guide to transforming lives. Leave a comment below and let me know what part of this message touched your heart, or what action you are willing to take to prioritize your peace. Every interaction, whether it's a comment, a like, or a subscription, helps this content reach more people who are also seeking answers. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss future videos. This is just the beginning of a conversation that has the potential to change lives, including yours. Remember, transformation starts with you. By choosing peace, you are not only reshaping your inner world, but also influencing the world around you. Thank you for being part of this community. See you in the next video. Your authenticity is the greatest gift you can offer the world.